January, 3.8 average rating. February, 3.8 average rating. March, 3.8 average rating. April? April, so far, 3.3. We're in desperate need of some wins. And you guys know when I don't have a plan, my video doesn't go well, but I don't have a plan. So we just have to cross our fingers that things are gonna work out. I am thinking I'm gonna read 3 books in this video. Where are they gonna come from? No idea. I am out of the house. I'm about to drop Liam off for a hair appointment. Rob got off early, so him and I are just gonna go hang out downtown. I'm sure we're gonna end up at the bookstore. The concept, I know it's crazy. Read books that I think will get a high rating. Isn't that how everybody else lives their life? Okay, books for me that get high ratings, typically. Like, we have to get romance and horror out of there because half the time I read them and I hate them. Thrillers are off the table because I rarely like those, but I could just read the beginning of a whole bunch of thrillers and pick one that I think is gonna be a win. Best option might be a little bit boring. It's nonfiction. Nonfiction almost always gets a high rating from me. Book number 2 should probably be something about living multiple lives, because that is not only what I give a high rating usually, but I have given high ratings especially like this year already. Books that play with time, just in general, I'm probably gonna rate pretty highly. Yesteryear is on its way in the mail from the UK. I think it was shipped like 3 weeks ago, so I don't know when it's gonna arrive, but it should be soon. If not Yesteryear, maybe I will just go and I'll look for some books that play with time, that have multiple like alternate lives, because I've just been really into those. And then the third thing I should read, I guess, should just be whatever I'm in the mood for after I finish those other 2 things. So what are we doing? We are running to the bookstore. We're gonna look around. I might not buy anything. Rob's walking towards me with 2 bunches of bananas. He's preparing for something. He sees us. Of course, you got an energy drink.
Your hair is woven into my pants.
Does this happen to anyone else? Like, there are certain fabrics that my hair will literally
all of them
be woven into
my boxers are really bad.
Shorts.
I've gone to put boxers on and your hair's wrapped around the elastic band. I can't open it and I have to literally tear them open.
Sorry, I guess.
Oh.
You want to get that for you? I don't remember what I was yapping about in the first clip, but I'm starting to think maybe I should just read 3 books that are all kind of the same premise of starting a new life or discovering a different version of your life or time loops and such, because these are 2 things that I decided to pick up. The Deja Glitch, which is a woman who thinks she's experiencing deja vu and she meets this random guy, and it turns out that they're stuck in this time loop and she doesn't know it, but he knows it. She just has this weird feeling and like they just keep meeting every single day. This kind of sounds fun. And then this one is called Begin Again, and it's a woman who dies and she gets to relive different moments of her life to see if she made a different decision, where her life would be at. Like the very stereotypical version of this story. So I read the first chapter of both of these and I'd be happy reading either. But then my Blackwell's book did arrive. Now I only do this every so often, order a book from the UK, because I prefer the cover so much more. I rarely do it with books that I haven't read yet. I think the only times that I've done this before is with Her Majesty's Royal Coven, which I ended up hating and then just getting rid of that book. So that was annoying, but like that cover is so superior. And then I did it with Our Wives Under the Sea, which was a 5-star. I also did it with Brat, which was a 5-star. 2 out of 3 of these experiences have been good. So I think this one will also be good if I read the version that has a beautiful cover. Ah, I love it. I love it. What does it look like underneath? Ooh, I love that color. This doesn't match. Like, it doesn't even match any of the specific colors, but like it's close. I often question how publishers can do this, but Book of the Month can't. And it must just be a price thing. Like maybe it costs too much to match the underneath, but Aardvark does it. And every time I get a Book of the Month book, I'm like, why did we not match the color? I'll show you. I should have known that would happen. My bookmarks are now all over the floor. At least it was only my bookmarks. Okay, let's see. Am I even right about this? I feel like I'm right. I've noticed it before. Yeah, okay. Aardvark, perfect match. Aardvark, perfect match. Book of the Month, No. See, it's off. It's not perfect. That one was a bad example because it's actually kind of close. Book of the month. Yeah, see, this is egregious. What are we doing? The green doesn't match and the pink really doesn't match. Book of the month. There must be a bunch of base colors to choose from, and they just go with the pink, the yellow. Shout out to whoever decided on this green for yesteryear. Actually, this was a book of the month pick. So although it's a different cover, so I don't know what the underneath would look like. Anyway, this is here now, and I do really want to read it, so I think I'm just going to do this today. I have seen only really negative or really positive reviews for this book. It doesn't seem like anybody's in the middle ground. I've seen probably 10 reviews come through on Instagram this week, and everyone is saying, oh my god, I loved it, perfect, or like, I don't get the hype, and I don't think this is as good as everyone's gonna hype it up to be. And I, of course, want to know which side I lie on. This blue is also stunning. So in it we have this trad wife influencer, and she has this public persona, but of course behind the scenes, not everything's perfect. Like maybe she pretends to be like everything's organic, but in reality it's not. And she looks like she's taking care of all of her kids, but she actually is a nanny. And then one day she wakes up in a strange, horrible version of reality. Her home, her husband, her children, they're all familiar with something's off. Is this a hoax, a reality show, a test from God? I think she's transported in time into like the time period in which she is glorifying, as if women need to go back to this period of time, but in that period of time especially, women didn't have the choice to live this certain type of life. It was just expected of them, pushed upon them, often without their consent, and their husbands weren't as emotionally available and supportive. So I think some harm is going to come to this woman in the past. And what I'm most excited about is there's obviously going to be some type of reveal the minute we find out how it happened, why it happened, if she's going to get back to the other life. And I hope that that is a surprising moment. I don't think I've heard anyone say like twists, but people have said like the reveal or like the shocking moment of the book or something. I will get back to you when I start it. Did not expect this book to be as much about early motherhood as it is, because she is established. She has children of all ages, but not a newborn. Yet we are going back in time quite a bit. We're seeing when her and her husband met for the first time, their wedding, her giving birth. Oh my God. Yeah. I literally got chills reading. She was in the hospital, just gave birth. Her mother told her to go for a jog. Just that whole scene and how it played out, I felt so like physically affected by it. This book is very good. She's definitely an over-the-top version of this type of influencer, and that's the point. She's infuriating Natalie to read about. She contradicts herself all the time. She's talking about how, oh, what was she? I can't remember what it was related to, but she said like, oh, my children's safety is my utmost concern or whatever. Yet she puts her children's faces online. And then one of her children for the first time says like, I don't want you to film me anymore. And it like rocks her to her core. But people will call her out on her behavior, and she's just very much in her own bubble and believes that she is perfect and that everyone else is an idiot. And she has all of these followers. She is super well known. She's very intentionally curated this life of living on a farm. It's obviously based on, I would say, a handful of very specific influencers who are trying to give a certain impression about their lives or the lives that everybody should live. And she talks about how she is the shark and all of her followers are the fish, and they're the ones who are feeding on her. She's providing them food and they need her to survive, but they don't realize it yet. And at any moment, they would so easily rip her apart if they could. They want to hate her, but they want to be her. So there's that. And then we also go back in time, and she has ambition for her life. She's going to school. She wants to get a degree. She wants to get a good job. And anyone else who doesn't believe in what she believes, as soon as she finds like the perfect man who has enough money to support her, she's like, I'm gonna go on this endeavor. And the rest of the girls who she's kind of sharing a dorm with, she just reads them to filth with their perspective on the world and the things that they care about and how they're putting her down, but she is enlightened. This is also very focused on religion. It's not a little mention that's like, oh, obviously these traditional values like fall into certain religious affiliations. No, it's like going hard with that conversation. So I do believe that some people who are religiously affiliated could see this book as making fun of them or assuming that every person is like this of this religion. But yeah, the exhausted motherhood stuff is a lot. She is struggling a lot. She wants to have all of these children and she wants to have this perfect life. And yeah, the children are content. And so I think that's part of her pumping them out. But also there is influence from her husband's family and like what kind of role they're supposed to play in this world. But I think it's representing a lot more people than just this like very specific situation as far as like the current day timeline, and then we get the historical, I guess, timeline later, which is set in the 1850s, 60s. And she has the same group of daughters. She has the same looking husband-ish, but they are of a different time period. And she's like, how did I get here? What happened? But they kind of think she's crazy. So she's like, I'll just go along with it and I'll just live this like strange life. She tries to escape a couple times. She gets a really clear view of like what farm life really is, because in reality she's not running her own farm, she's hiring people, and her content is, like I said, very curated. And these children in the past, especially the one who in current day said she doesn't want to be a part of the content anymore, that kind of child is represented by a very strong-willed girl, but in a very different way, embodies more traditional values and is kind of the head of the household. And them butting heads is a very interesting dynamic to bring into the book. But it's not just set in the past. We are jumping back and forth frequently, and we're kind of seeing what seems like it's going to be the implosion of her public image, and the perfect little life that she believes that she has is going to be exposed to people and to her as being as imperfect as it is. This I don't believe is going to be the type of story that's like, oh, she learned all of these lessons and now gets to live this new perfect life. I think this is all gonna be bad. Very interestingly delivering us a character who we hate, but is giving us a lot of moments where we could feel bad for her. And you as the reader have to choose if you're gonna feel bad for what's happening and if she deserves what is being done to her. Because on a surface level, it's easy to say yes. Like chapter 56 and what they're implying that should be done to her, is that fair? Even though we hate her, and I don't think are meant to see any redemption is going to come of this. Does she deserve this though? I don't know. What is happening? How to talk about, I'm obviously not going to talk about like the reveal, but I feel like I have to say something about it. How do I feel about it? Didn't quite expect it, but it is expected. I guess I like it. I don't know. Expect the end of that book to make me tear up. What the heck? I was just thinking about how so many children are impacted by just narcissistic, controlling, abusive parents. That was such a smart way to end it. I'm really glad it didn't go in the direction that a lot of these books do, But I kind of got the feeling at the beginning that it wasn't, because this is a very antagonistic protagonist. And the point isn't about her. It's about the harm that she has done. Oh my God, this book was so good. I feel like I shouldn't really say anything else about it. I liked the writing. I liked the themes. I liked the message. I think this is going to be a I'm gonna say 4.25. I'm so glad I liked this book because I paid so much money for it and I waited so long for it to arrive. Yay! One of my favorite covers of the year, one of my favorite books of the year. I think I have around 20 books that I've given above 4-star this year. Okay, see you when I start my next thing. I am really glad the tone of yesteryear was what it was, because then when I read other books that are about like living different lives, they're all going to be a different tone, because this one is definitely lighter. And then the Deja Glitch, if we get to that one, I think is even lighter and romancy, but we'll see how everything goes. I did put this little thermometer scale thing, and like I said, I was currently at a 3.3, and the reason it only goes up to a 3.6 is because I would love to get to a 3.8, but it is unattainable at this point with just reading 3 books. Here's everything that I've read so far and why my rating is at where it's at. It's not that I've had a whole bunch of flops. Like the bottom couple rows, well, I didn't rate the erotic one, but I've had a couple 2s, had mostly 3s. And like the top row I reserve for, you know, my favorite books of the month, and I just don't have anything in there. Well, I have A Rivalry of Hearts, and now I can put in Yesteryear. But if I don't find more favorites, I have to move up other 4 stars to the top row, and that just doesn't feel right. Also, I do this little collage at the end of every month with my 4 favorites. I don't have 4 favorites. So with adding just 3 more books, I can only get up to a 3.6. And Yesteryear did successfully move us from a 3.3 to a 3.4. So we're on track. And this one at the halfway point, Begin Again by Helly Acton, feels like it could be a 4. It feels like a 4. We're following Frankie in this book. Frankie works at a magazine. She's a writer. She is on a date at the beginning. She's struggling a little bit with dating and what she wants. We're getting a good idea of her personality right at the beginning. She's a little bit of a mess. Like, she's an oversharer. Her dates don't usually go well. She's a little chaotic. This guy at the beginning seems kind of into it. I can't even remember his name, but I think the point might be that we eventually come back to him after she experiences life with all of these different people, because she dies right after this date. And for whatever reason, there's not a lot of explanation and sciencey stuff happening, but she magically has this spirit guide who's like, I'm gonna give you a second chance at life. I'm gonna show you little moments from your life, see what you would change in them, and then you can hop into those realities and what life could have looked like. So the first one she visits, both of them that we're in have very much revolved around men and the person that she is with. And there was even one moment where the spirit guide was like, I've noticed that these memories really revolve around who you're dating, and you need to think more about who you want to be and what you want and what your life looks like. But then right after she said that, I thought we were going to go on a different journey. Frankie is visiting this next life where she's super rich, and with this guy she's giving another chance to. It definitely does not feel romantic. It doesn't feel like one of those ones where we are reading and trying to pick like which partner is best for her. I know this one I really liked because there was a couple different guys who she was going back and forth between, and that was really fun. And then in the husbands, it was like a different man every chapter, and you didn't necessarily get connected to any specific guy, but I think there were moments where it was intended for you to think, okay, this is the one for her, this is the one for her. With Begin Again so far, it does not feel at all like I'm supposed to root for any of the men that we've met. But I think it's about how choosing a different man and chooses a different lifestyle and chooses a different version of her reality and impacts like how she's going to treat her friends and how she views herself. This feels like a very classic version of this type of story, and one that I'll probably recommend to people in the future who are just wanting to get into books about living different versions of your own reality. The message is always so expected and so anticipated. It's like no matter what life you live, you're gonna make the best of it, and the life you were living before was good enough, but all of these moments inspire you to live more fruitfully and more your true self. I almost always enjoy it no matter how it turns out, and I think this is going to be the same. I'm at Liam's baseball tryouts. Is that a goat? Practice. His baseball practice. There's a goat in the road. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna go for a walk and I'm gonna try out a whole bunch of audiobooks. That's what I've decided because I really wanna make sure before I commit to the Deja glitch that that is what I wanna read. I know I'm thinking too much and I need to review the book, but obviously I'm just trying to plan and like make sure things go well because this did not move the needle as much as I needed it to. So we did not make it to the next decimal place. And the only way I can't get to a 3.6, the only way I can get to a 3.5 at this point is for the next book to be 5 stars. That's a lot of pressure. So I'm going to try out a whole bunch of things. With this, it wasn't a 5 and it wasn't quite a 4. I feel like I could call it a 4. If we wanted to round up, we'd call it a 4, but this was definitely a 3.75. I skimmed through some Goodreads reviews really quickly and I saw a couple of phrases repeatedly, mostly that there were too many different realities and we didn't spend enough time in each of them, and I think the exact opposite is true. I would have liked more realities. I would have liked us to jump around a little bit more frequently because I got bored there was like 3 that I feel like took up the bulk and they went on for quite a bit of time, and I stopped caring about them earlier than the author wanted to give up on them and move on to the next. A lot of people also said they didn't like the main character, and I don't agree with that. I think she was interesting to follow. She is the typical protagonist in this type of story where it's somebody who fears commitment and is always living in the past and can't live in the moment. I think she specifically used the phrase like making a forever decision a couple times. She fears that, like doing something that she can't take back. And that's great because she takes things seriously. Like her relationships aren't flippant. She doesn't want to have kids because her partner wants to have kids. She doesn't want to have kids if she's not totally sure. She's child-free by choice. And I like that she didn't pop into a certain reality where she had all of these kids. And what I like about this type of book is it often takes it gives us realistic circumstances. It's not the most extreme versions of someone's life, but it gives enough imagination that the feeling of the butterfly effect and that one small change can impact your entire reality, you feel that viscerally. So you get to see them live a more glamorous life or a more peaceful life. There's something in it for them at every turn. Like it's a positive, good feeling kind of story, but it's not so ridiculous and so extreme that they would end up in a scenario that doesn't seem realistic for them as a person. She's not going to end up with this terrible, awful person. She's not going to end up having all of these children for this man. She's not going to end up in a career that isn't satisfying for her because she knows what she's good at. She knows what she wants enough. It's just hard to commit to something and feel like that's going to be your whole life. It was not in fact my favorite version of this type of story. I have ones that I have preferred, but I just don't know that I'll ever hate a story like this. So a 3.75 I'm totally happy with. I only want it higher because I need my rating to get higher. But I will see you when I'm home. Hey. I tried out a lot of books and I don't know how to do this concisely for you. First up, I wanted to revisit the idea of reading nonfiction because that's what I said I was gonna do. So I started these two. Very unexpected results. This one, after reading and loving, where is it? The Disordered Cosmos years ago, which was memoir meets informational, very accessible. This one is just on a different level. She is very good at explaining things to people, for sure, who wouldn't understand the astrophysics of it all. But I don't know that I can fully, or while I was reading, could fully grasp everything. So this is not it today. I might still finish it by the end of the month. Maybe I'll knock it out, but I can't do it today. Race book, I'm DNFing, which is not what I expected at all. I've read from this author once before and it was fiction. I think I prefer his fiction. I want to say I'll give this another go, and I really thought because we're a similar age and this is about the internet and relationships with the internet that I would feel very connected to it. I'm really actually struggling with all of the video game and techie type references. I just don't think this is quite the book for me. I liked the intro. I liked the conversation about the current state of the internet and when he felt like he had a voice on the internet and how he feels like it connects all of us. Like I was into it. And then there was just so many pages of like video games, and I wasn't as interested anymore. Then I was gonna go with one of these two, and then I realized I read the first chapter of both of these already, and they just aren't what I'm in the mood for today. Then we had these two, and then I realized what? I was gonna say I didn't end up reading the first chapter of this one. No shit, I didn't end up reading the first chapter of it. It's not even in a language that I speak. How did I buy this? That's so funny. Oh my gosh, this worked out well anyway, because I accidentally got it from the library as well. Or like I was on a wait list for a long time and it came in and then I didn't actually need it. But I wasn't the one who picked it up from the library, my husband was. And if I had gone to pick it up, I would have just put it right back in the return slot, but he brought it home for me, which is so nice. And I was gonna go return it today because I bought myself a copy in the meantime on one of those, you know, thrifty websites for cheap books. I didn't notice the title was not in the language I speak. So I suppose I could have read the first chapter, but I remembered that this was planned for a video. So I'm actually reading this like next week. The Future Saints, the first chapter was not very interesting. Most Eligible, I quite liked the first chapter. It's this reality show and the woman is dating the host, but she doesn't realize until they both get there. Or not dating, they slept together and they have to keep that under wraps while she tries to date the star of the show, but in reality, she's there investigating a producer. This would be, I think, in the second place of all of my picks. In the third place would be For Human Use. I just cannot get a vibe for if this is gonna be a 5-star or like a 2-star. I could end up hating this. I also started Into the Blue, which is like the book of the moment right now. Everyone's obsessed with. And I got pretty significantly into this one because I was waiting to be convinced that I would love it. Cause like, I want to read the things that everyone else is reading. I want to read the popular stuff. I do not like this at all. I got 2 hours into the audiobook and I had to return it. It's just a little boring. It's definitely too sentimental and a lot of emotional weight. I couldn't even enjoy like the Shakespeare of it all because just the dynamic is beautiful, but not really what I'm interested in right now. I also DNF'd Wife-Shaped Bodies, which was kind of a surprise. I got almost halfway into this one. The writing is just a little too like vague. I could get on board with it if it was a novella because it kind of felt like the writing would come from me with apples, but it's too long and too drawn out and too like poetry for me, and female rage being at the forefront, like that's a hit or miss for me. Oh, It's Not Her. About 10% of the way into. There's like a brother and sister, they're renting vacation homes and the brother and his wife go missing and the other woman has to solve it. There are children involved and there was just so much arguing in that first 10%. So I just looked up the spoilers for the book and I wouldn't have loved it. And then on a whim, I decided to start Children of Dune because I was really floundering and I was like, this is something that I want to read by the end of the year and it's part of a series that I give 5 stars. And then, I don't know, it was just a lot to take in at the moment and I don't think I really had committed to it. So all of that to say, I'm coming back to the Deja glitch. I do feel good about committing to this. So we have Gemma. She's trying to make her name for herself in LA and that like turned me off immediately. I was really worried, but it's that she works in the music industry and she is producing for radio and she just loves music and talks about her love of music. She has a rock star ex-boyfriend, which also worried me a little bit, but he's not really in the picture very much at all. And her father is a rock legend dad, but again, that doesn't really, like the fame of it all and the performance and stuff, like that's not really a focus of the book. What happens is she crashes into this man named Jack when she's going to get coffee one day. And he is like, we know each other. And she's like, you seem kind of familiar. And he's like, oh my God, okay. I have been doing this multiple days in a row. And this is the moment you kind of recognize me. That's crazy because I have been trying to get you to remember me for a while now. And I guess they met the night before, but it's also like the day we're currently in at her best friend's birthday party. Had a little whirlwind romance. And then the next day, life reset itself. And it's been like that for him over and over again. And he just keeps repeating the same thing over and over again. It kind of feels like 50 First Dates, where it's very focused on the guy and what he is trying to do and how he's trying to get her to remember him or how he's trying to get on her good side, convince her that he's the guy for her. But we're hearing from her perspective, which is just a very interesting thing because he feels like the protagonist because everything is happening to him and no one around knows that they're stuck in this time loop. But he's trying to convince Gemma that she is the key to breaking the time loop. He's so charming and he's so cute and he's just so like, I am into you and I promise you're into me, you just don't know it yet. It feels like Groundhog Day, it feels like Freaky Friday. It's like they have to come together to figure out what the lesson is and then they can break the curse or whatever. He is really yearning for her and he's trying to prove that he knows her, but trying not to scare her off and be creepy. He's like, I know that in 5 seconds your phone is gonna ring and it's gonna be this person and they're gonna say this. And she's naturally freaked out by that, but then she just kind of goes along with it. And it's one of those books that I love where people just go along with it. And she tells other people and her friends like, yeah, that sounds plausible. Like, let's go talk to this fortune teller and maybe she knows things about it. Obviously, this was the right pick all along, but I kept trying to convince myself that I needed to read something a little bit different for the sake of the vlog. It's not about the vlog. It's about me and what I like. And what I like is this. I'm on a mission. Have you, if you're on TikTok, seen the videos where it's somebody with a bunch of, oh, I think I've talked about this before, realistic looking like fruit desserts? I just bought a bunch of towels and I think they're fluffing everywhere. Oh my God, speaking of fruit, I've barely even spoken about the fruit. I got a strawberry towel. I got this one that I think Liam will like because it's subtle, navy blue. And then this one for Rob or whoever. It's little fishes. I realized I haven't bought new beach towels. I don't know, probably like a decade. The ones that we use have held up really well. I wanted to have 3 like plush ones for the summer. Anyway, the fruit. There's these realistic looking fruits. They have cake inside, I think, and like layers of jam. And then the outside, I think, is white chocolate. I love the idea of biting into these fruits. I have told you about them before because I was also looking for these ones that you can just get in the freezer section. And they were so good. They're like sorbet. Those were delicious. But these are the ones that started elsewhere and they've swept my TikTok For You page and there's nowhere to get them in Kelowna until now. So I'm downtown waiting for them to open because when we tried to get them on the weekend, it said they were sold out by 11 and they only open at 10 a.m. Oh, my book. I was going to tell you about my book. I've been listening to the audiobook while I drive around, which is something I haven't done in so long. And oh my God, it's so cute. And I have this idea. So if you don't want to know anything about the book, because I don't know, this is just my theory, but like skip ahead because I'm probably going to recommend this one. But for the people who've read it or really don't care, I think what's happening, and I think it's so cute, is that he thinks that she has to fall in love with him by the end of the day. It's like a fairy tale thing to get out of the time loop because he's slowly affecting her, like he's slowly changing things. And the closer that they get, the more memories she seems to have and the closer he thinks he's getting out of the time loop. And so this time they kissed and now things have changed. And that's why this day is the focus of the book because she kissed him the night before and he thinks like we're on a journey. And I think that could be true, that if she falls in love with him by the end of the day, that'll break the loop. But I also kind of think based on what's happening in the story, it's that if they, I don't know, I think it's if they fully like, maybe this is love, they fully support each other and help each other equally to create the perfect day together, then that's what's going to break the time loop. Because he's been so focused this entire time, as we've learned throughout what I've read, I don't even know I have an idea where I'm even at in the book, that he's been essentially helping her day get better and better. That's not his goal necessarily. He's just such a nice guy and they're so compatible and he really believes in her and he's fallen in love with her over these last, I'm not going to tell you how many days that this has been happening. Like, I'm not trying to actually spoil the entire book. She had this opportunity and she thinks that she's done it, and he, it's a little white lie, he said like, oh, you do this every day and I believe in you and like you can do it because I've seen you do it. And so she goes and does this thing and it turns out that was her first time ever doing it. And he was like, well, I thought if I really just told you could do it, you could do it. And she did it. And so her day is just getting better and his day is staying the exact same because he's so focused on what she needs. But there's this one moment we're just getting to in the book where he's having a bad thing happen in his day that happens every single day and he's never been able to solve this problem. And she's like, well, let me try to solve it. And I think she's going to solve it. And I think that's what's going to, like, if they both understand each other and they both work together and they both help each other equally, like that's what's going to be, I guess, making them fall in love, but also breaking the loop. I love this book. I think it's so cute. Anyway, I'm going to go get my treats. Hopefully they're there today and everything works out for me because they're having the perfect day in my book and I'm building to my own perfect day. I did it. I secured the goods. Okay, it's a little bit of a mess in here because I was moving them around and I did cut one in half because I figured, oh, when Liam gets home, he can eat half and then Rob and I can taste test on camera. But There's a lot of goo in there that's spilled out, and I moved them all around, so it's not as beautiful as when they got put in the box, but ta-da! I'm most excited about this one and this one.
Holy shit.
I cut one, and Liam ate half of one. They're full of goo.
Okay.
What do you want to try first?
Well, let's do the one you cut, because it's already falling apart. Strawberry.
What are you doing?
Oh. Okay.
You thought we were going to eat the entire... You thought we were going to eat 6 of these right now.
Yeah.
You and me.
Yeah.
What?
I
I actually don't know what's inside these. But this is the strawberry. I think maybe it's... I don't know.
Wow.
I thought you were going to take a bite.
I did. What is that?
I don't know. I think it's cream cheese.
Mmm.
I think there's 2 different things. I think there's like a whipped cream.
I guess I can see the inside of this one. Yeah, it looks like whipped cream on the top and some sort of... I don't even know. God, that looks so good.
This is the peach. They have little like cookies underneath too.
Oh, that is a satisfying sound.
Mmm. It's like ice cream, but it's not. Oh, you got the goo. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. The strawberry is an 8.
I would agree.
Really?
Because I found the strawberry just a tinge too sweet.
And we're just gonna put it back in the fridge like this, and then Liam can have another bite. Like, no. What's next?
I guess the pear just go in order, I guess. What do you think? Maybe I'm just gonna eat the top. I think it'll be easier.
No, because you need to get this.
Oh.
I think that's chocolate.
It's gonna fall in half, I feel like.
It's a more mild taste. I'm also gonna give it out of 7. Or 8. What did I say?
8. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
This is the lemon.
That Lee made half of it already.
We need to eat the actual cookie with it this time.
Eat that, though.
I don't think that's for food. Oh.
No, that's paper. That one's good.
That's also a 9 for me.
Yeah, that might be a little higher.
I didn't think that would be as high as the peach. This I think is be so good. Liam asked me to leave him the knob.
Okay.
He said he wants to eat that.
He just wants to mangy
Yeah.
the red part. Okay. So you're gonna go with the whole back end?
I'm gonna come in from the back.
Yeah? Oh, you and your 45-degree angle head, you really gotta go sideways and you can just tilt. Oh, she might like it. She might like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
I should have gotten 2 of those. In the moment, I almost did.
Oh, wow.
It's a 10 out of 10.
I'm not the biggest mango lover. That's pretty good. It's a 9 for me. The new blueberry is the least liked fruit, so they had to give it a little zhuzh. Not yours?
That one was a 5 out of 10. I like them all except the blueberry.
I like them all.
Period.
Thanks for waking up so early to get them for me.
Thanks for being at our taste test. And now I have finished the Deja glitch. The allegations are gonna come in that I'm too picky. I can't give it a 5. It's not a 5. I think it's a 4.25, maybe a 4.5. I have now had 3 definitive favorites of the month. They're all above a 4. They're my only reads above a 4. But neither of these were 5s. Like I just know they aren't 5s as far as the scale goes, regardless of if this was a 4.25 or a 4.5. It has brought us up to the next decimal point. I have now gone from a 3.3 to a 3.5 for the month. This video successfully completed my goal. Technically, it brought it to a 3.46, 3.47, but rounded up, that is a 3.5, my friends. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, for going on this journey with me. I really do love a time loop story. It's always gonna be above a 3.5. This had a little bit of stuff that I wasn't the most interested in, and as always, I wanted it to be a little more fun, but it had plenty of plot considering this was taking place in one day. She had to grapple with her feelings about various things, had to contend with relationships with people in her life. There was jealousy, there was finding confidence after a relationship, there was getting to attend a special event, there was getting to meet people she always wanted to hang out with and talk to, and getting to fall in love when she didn't think that that was something that was gonna happen in her life when it did. And I just think that's so cute. There was a little too much arguing with parental figures, and I think she was being a little unfair to a certain person. Or no, I think the book didn't give us enough background and evidence of the contentious relationship for us to be on board with how angry she got in a certain moment. So I think there should have been a little bit more added into here, or that shouldn't have been such an extreme moment in an otherwise really lighthearted book. I could easily see this turn into a movie. It felt very cinematic and fun, and I had such a good time reading it. 3 books that played with time and 3 more wins for my list. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next vlog, and hopefully we can keep these ratings up for the rest of the year.